Try to get it as lit as possible before we get lit. Hope everybody out there is having a good day. On this, I'm just chilling, man. I've been working hard, man. Just finished a few English classes. I got some exams coming up at university that I need to study for. Also doing something for culturalist theory. It's going to be coming out soon, so y'all stay tuned for that. All that good stuff, man. We're going to be very busy this summer. And yeah, man, got to find a way to get that money for tuition. Got to get money for tuition, too. So it's going to be a very busy month, but as we hit this 1 minute mark, I'm about to get into it. So what's up, everybody? Thanks for clicking this video. Thanks for tuning into my channel. My name is Simon Hill, Black American from Louisiana, coming to you live from Budapest, Hungary, where I'm at right now, May 24th, 2025, and it's about 8:09 p.m. And I just wanted to come on live real quick to talk about a YouTube comment that I got under my channel. And I haven't been doing a lot of live streams, haven't been loading a lot on my channel because I've been very busy with my personal life, as you know. But, you know, usually I still check my account. I check what's posted on my channel, and I try to monitor and moderate what goes on my platform, right? And so a lot of the times, like all of you know who have been following me for years, I get a lot of hate messages from angry, small-dicked white supremacists, mostly white men, I assume, who are just incensed that a handsome, melanated, smart, educated, well-traveled brother like me could actually be so gung-ho, so fired up, so energized about combating white supremacy and stupid talking points that they parrot all the time. And so a lot of the times I just block these people on my platform because we see white supremacy, hear the white supremacist dialogue every day of our lives. We turn on the TV and see Donald Trump parroting white supremacist talking points, talking about the white genocide in South Africa. We open up our history books and see these slave owners lauded as the leaders of the free world and all that stuff. So yeah, enough of actually trying to allow them to, on my platform, there is no free speech. Shout out to Ozzy as well. He jumped into the live stream. Salute to Ozzy. There is no free speech on my platform. There's educated speech. There's respectful speech. There's disagreement with some degree of courtesy, but there is no blatant white supremacy that will be allowed on my platform. Anybody calling another black person the N-word, anybody calling me the N-word, anybody referring to us as racial slurs will not be on my platform, period. None of that. So I get those types of messages all day, all the time. And so I wanted to talk about this one comment that I got under my channel that made me actually think I should change my strategy, that made me actually think I should recalibrate the way I run this platform. And that's from this supremacist here. And it goes like this. So this is under a video I made a few months ago, actually, where you can see the thumbnail of my wife kissing me. It's titled, "One Life is Worth $10 Million, Sonia Massey." And this is in relation to the case of Sonia Massey, a black woman who was murdered in her own home by the police department when she was having a psychological break, right? The police who murdered her are being investigated right now, but the city where she was murdered ended up paying the family $10 million civil judgment right now. And by the way, this is a call-in show. We have a call-in person right here, so I'm going to let my guy Alexander speak. He might be a troll or something, but let's hear what Alexander has to say. I'm going to ask Alexander to unmute. What up, Alexander? The people can hear you. Say what you say. Well, that's what we from Alexander. Let's let people know what Alexander got to say. That's what Alexander got to say. Now, that's what Alexander has to say. We're going to mute Alexander. Now, Alexander, as we have you on mute right there, we would like to know why you felt the need to do that. Is it because you feel so insecure as a man? Is it because you feel small? Is it because you feel like calling black people the N-word is somehow going to make us, you know, lose our cool, be disrespected, somehow not be as intelligent and great as we are? I think it says more about you that you're unwilling to face and that you would rather do that than actually have a civilized conversation. For somebody who comes from the master race, I find it disheartening that the master race has to resort to trolling. The master race has to resort to name calling. The master race has to resort to troll tactics of children. Anyway, once again, we're not going to allow white supremacists to actually be on this channel and to actually have a voice on this channel. But if they want to come up here and debate, we're always open for debate. Let's continue here. So the comment that I was reading was in relation to the video I made about Sonia Massey. right? $10 million. $10 million is what Sonia Massey's family got. And it goes like this. This guy said, it's over, 12415. He says, yes, because that's how much you cost the government in payouts for being such a drag on Western societies. And that comment got me thinking a lot. Number one, this comment came from a person, because I always like to research who the person was that sent this. This person's name was Yes, I'm Autistic. Now, I think that says a lot. I think that says a lot for several reasons. This is a person who probably is actually going through mental health issues, who is probably not all there. And while autism isn't a reason to be racist, white supremacist, I can also understand how some people are not able to reason and think clearly enough to look past their bigotry that they probably are inculcated within the white community. So once again, being autistic is not something that I'm going to roast this person about, because one of my followers, Kamal, by the way, told me that he, struggles with, and I'm sorry if I put that out there, for you. I didn't mean to do that, in a disrespectful way. But I do think, that somebody having that and being honest with is not a bad person. There's nothing wrong with being that. Okay? So let's talk about this. Let's talk about what It's Over 12415 had to actually say. If really black people took that much from government, first and foremost, let's take the comment on its face. Let's say hypothetically, every black person does take $10 million from the United States government, a government that every year brings in billions, trillions of dollars in tax revenue, trillions of dollars in profit taking that it does in several parts of the world. The American government gives out billions of dollars in funding to foreign countries. Black Americans are the descendants of people who for about 200 years, from the official starting of the United States from 1776 until 1865, until the end of slavery, trillions of dollars of infrastructure development and commercial benefit to the United States of America as our people were in chains. So if hypothetically, let's just take this, that the United States government did give out $10 million in benefits to every single black person every single year, wouldn't that justify? Wouldn't that be some type of economic benefit for black people who have been taken advantage of in this country? Do you get what I'm saying? Of course that would be justified. But that's not even what happens. The States government makes more money off of all of its citizens in general than we get in return. We don't live in a social welfare state in America. That's gone. There are no real government handouts. We're the only country in the developed Western world that doesn't do anything for its citizens. No universal health care, no universal higher education, no pre-K for kids, none of that. And why is that? It's because of hate like this. It's because of people like It's Over 12415 thinking that now there's a group of undeserving people who are actually the descendants of the people who are the most deserving of any benefits America has to give. There are people who think that there are undeserving people who are taking from the deserving, hardworking, tax-paying citizens, which is not the case. Which is not the case at all. That's not the case of what's happening in America. What's actually happening in America is that a lot of people are hell-bent on opposing all types of social reforms, types of reforms that could help all types of people, white people, black people, Hispanic people, Asian people, all the people that comprise the 400 plus million Americans. They're hell-bent on opposing that because they've been deluded into thinking from the right-wing propaganda they've been fed all their lives, that there's a group of people that will take advantage of the system. That there's a group of people that will reap all the benefits of the system off of the backs of people who pay into that system. But newsflash for everybody, number one employer for most black Americans is the United States government. More black people work for the United States government than don't. Facts. That is facts. And I'm not talking about, now with Doge and everything, those statistics might change. But black people fill up the militaries, black people fill up the post office, black people fill up the DMVs, and all types of state agencies and all types of stuff. We pay into the system with our lives, with our actual work and labor that we're alienated from. On top of that, we are taxpayers. And a lot of our taxpayer money goes into those pension funds. And what do those pension funds then do with the billions of dollars that they get every year from the government workers? They invest it into the stock market. The number one investor in the stock market is not individual retail investors. It's these large hedge funds, these large pension funds, these large insurance funds that then put their billions of dollars into the Apples, the Microsoft, the Googles, the Amazons, and everything. The economic engine of the United States is ran off the labor of black people, even still to this day. Even still to this day. And I'm not just trying to focus only on black people, but in general, most Americans pay into the system and get nothing in return. We're the richest nation in the world that does not guarantee universal health care for its citizens. We're the richest nation in the world where going to college costs you an arm and a leg and people come out of it with debt. And the number one reason people oppose that is because of this racist bullshit that they've been fed all of their lives. And that's really why it's over 12415. His comment is getting highlighted right now. It's getting highlighted right now because number one, the call that I got from Alexander right now with him just calling me the N-word bolsters my claim and puts more fire on my back to continue to talk about white supremacy and anti-Blackness. Because that goes to show that anti-Blackness is still alive and well to this day. Does that not prove that? Does that not prove that I'm coming up here talking about American issues that affect all people and all somebody can call me is the N-word? No matter how intelligent, no matter how educated I am, it can only just diminutize me. People can only diminish my humanity, all right? So let's go here. Let's go here to the comment section. I actually try to read the comments. So Ozzy says, why don't you use StreamYard? I will use StreamYard, I promise, man. I just felt more comfortable pulling out my phone and talking to the people, by the way. Tomas Sulich says, to stop racism, do not talk about this. Okay, so I should not talk about somebody calling me the N-word. I should not talk about somebody coming into my comment section saying the reason that a black woman deserved to die and get $10 million sent to her family. I shouldn't talk about that at all. I wonder how Tomas, because he's probably from the Balkans or somewhere like that with a name like that, or from some part of Eastern Europe. If somebody were to say, hey, stop talking about Polish issues, stop talking about Montenegrin issues, stop talking about Hungarian issues, or whatever shithole Slavic country he came from, if somebody told him to stop talking about his country's issues, how would he feel? I'm going to continue to talk about black issues, white supremacy, anti-Blackness, for as long as the world treats me like I'm black. For as long as somebody can continue to call me the N-word when all I'm doing is talking about American issues. Logic Pack says, that's Floyd Mayweather. I got them hands like Mayweather, so I wish one of you white supremacists would run up on me. Retired Klaus Schwab says, I make the money from the government. Okay, I don't know. That's definitely a person who doesn't speak English as his first language, because he says, I make the money from the government. I think you mean I make money from the government. We don't use a definite article in front of money. This is a person who doesn't know English, right? Anyway, I'm going to continue here. Ozzy says, have you seen this new trending phrase called black fatigue? As if we're the problem with society. It's laughable. It is absolutely laughable. And I have white fatigue from comments like this, because when we think about it, America could be paradise on earth. The United States of America has enough resources, enough distance from all the wars and tragedies in the world to be paradise on earth for not only the 400 million legal citizen Americans, but also for double that population 2 times over. Enough money, enough power, but the mind state of the white supremacists, the mind state of the latent white supremacists, the mind state of the people that imbibe white supremacy stop us from having universal health care, higher education for free for everybody, a banning of the guns, high-speed rail across the country. Because the way that they were able to up safety net and benefits for all citizens is basically against black people. Essentially, it all boils down to comments like it's over, saying like people are somehow a drain on society, so therefore me and my white children don't deserve universal health care. If black people have health care, if black people are able to go to college for free, how can I say I'm better than black folks? How can I say I'm better than black folks if all of these social programs are able to be given to all citizens? Even if I benefit, I would rather kill my white self and my white children's future than to give black people an equal leg up in our society. That's sad. It's absolutely sad. All right. Going back to the comments. Retired Klaus Schwab says, what's the solution then? He says he's Austrian. And all I'm saying, Klaus Schwab, is that our country, the United States of America, should be like Austria. The United States of America could be like Austria. Universal health care, higher education that's affordable, if not damn near free. A safe society, a society that's not car dependent, a society that is able to actually take care of its citizens and provide unemployment benefits and housing benefits and all of those things. The entire Klaus Schwab, I assume, is a white supremacist. He is a person, I assume, most likely, has been on those 4chan's message boards because Klaus Schwab is the boogeyman of the white right. He is like the George Soros. He's one of those people that the whites like to pull out, and then they say, yeah, these are the new globalist hegemons who are trying to control the world. If you don't know, I be on 4chan all the time, and I see all their memes, and I'm immune to the negativity that they throw my way. But I have to say this. There's a reason why Klaus Schwab probably would not want to move to America. There's a reason why. He's probably going to say it's black people. He's probably going to be racist and say it's somehow the multiculturalism or the shit skills that make him too scared to move there. But in reality, it's because it's of the social safety net. I assume Klaus Schwab will not want to move to America because we have no social safety net. And we have no social safety net because of the white mind state that prevents our government from actually doing something to care for its citizens, even the white ones. Let's never forget, America is the country where a person walked into an elementary school in Sandy Hook and murdered a few dozen white children, shooting them right between the forehead with a gun. And the white supremacists said, we don't even want to get rid of guns. You get what I'm saying? That's how much they are hell-bent on just suppressing black people. They would rather oppress their own selves than to actually uplift the entire society if black people were along for the ride. Continuing here. Kamal says, comrade, welcome back. Shout out to Kamal right here. Ozzy says, sounds like a Czech name, Tomas. And retired Klaus Schwab says history. And so we got to all the comments real quick. So yeah, let's do a little bit more education real quick because I don't want to be on too long and I feel like I'm going hard. Once again, okay? Retired Klaus Schwab says you make judgments on people. I make judgments as you came in here with the type of memes and the type of energy that let me assume that most likely you are a white supremacist. If somebody were to come in here with a Pepe the Frog meme as their avatar, I would assume most likely that is a white supremacist. If somebody were to come in here with a red, black, and green American flag and to say peace, brother, up in the chat, I would assume they were FBA or some other type of black conscious. But you came in here, retired Klaus Schwab, talking about all this other stuff with Klaus Schwab in your profile pic. So I assume you're a white supremacist. I assume also that you don't know any black folks. And I assume also that you say the N-word on those 4chan message boards. I will make those assumptions. The same way you make assumptions about me not being intelligent, and you'll probably make assumptions about other parts of my physical presence. I'll say that. But anyway, I want to do this. I want to read more. I want to educate all the people. I want to educate all the people on why we don't have universal health care, why we don't have freedoms in America that other countries take for granted, like in Austria, like in Denmark, like in Germany, like in France, like in Hungary, like in so many other countries that are lesser than the United States, that have less wealth, less abilities. I'm going to break down why it all breaks down to whiteness, why white supremacy has allowed our country to go to shit, even at their own detriment. All right? So, Mr. Freak says, greetings, Mars, and he says, entertain me. No. Mr. Freak is cool. Okay, so we're going to put this user in timeout because, once again, white supremacy will not be allowed on this channel. Calling black people the N-word, calling black people monkeys, calling black people any of those things. All right? We are not going to allow that on this channel. All right, and Martin Strother, before I get into the reading, I read this. Martin Strother says, what's the big chip thing on your shoulder? This is the person whose English is definitely not his first language because chip thing is not how we use that phrase. This is a person who definitely needs English classes. And if you want some English class from a professional English teacher who's been doing it for years, holla at your boy, holla at my email. I'll hook you up. I will hook you up. Anyway, he says, what's the big chip on your shoulder for? I'm from Louisiana. I'm from Louisiana, and it radicalized me. All right? Retired Klaus Schwab says, you say we're whites are all this? We are brothers, sir. I am not your brother. I am definitely not your brother. I am definitely not your brother. I have one brother, and you are not him. Definitely not. So, no, we are not brothers, especially if you are not for anti-racism. Retired Klaus Schwab, put in that you are against anti-Blackness and you are against anti-Black racism and all forms of racism. Write this, Klaus Schwab. If you want to call me brother, and I will call you brother back, put this in the chat. I am against anti-Blackness and I am an anti-racist. I am against anti-Blackness and I am an anti-racist. I am against anti-Blackness and I am an anti-racist. Put that in the chat and I will call you brother all day. But until then, eat my big black dick. Continuing on here, why doesn't the United States have universal health care? The answer has everything to do with race. This was published on the New York Times. I will be reading this. All right. It's written by Janine Interlandi and is published August 14th, 2019. I'll be reading from this article right here. And retired Klaus Schwab says, I don't agree with racism, full stop. Well, eat my big black dick. We're not talking about racism. We're talking about anti-Blackness and white supremacy. So eat my dick. All right. And I want to visit Austria too. Shout out to Ozzy. So the smallpox virus hopscotched across the post-Civil War South, invading the makeshift camps where many thousands of newly freed African Americans had taken refuge, but leaving surrounding white communities comparatively unscathed. This pattern of affliction was no mystery. In the late 1860s, doctors had yet to discover viruses, but they knew that poor nutrition made people more susceptible to illness and that poor sanitation contributed to the spread of disease. They also knew quarantine and vaccination could stop an outbreak in its tracks. They had used those very tools to prevent a smallpox outbreak from ravaging the Union Army. Smallpox was not the only health disparity facing the newly emancipated, who at the close of the Civil War faced a considerably higher mortality rate than that of whites. Despite their urgent pleas for assistance, white leaders were deeply ambivalent about intervening. They worried about black epidemics spilling into their own communities and wanted the formerly enslaved to be healthy enough to return to plantation work. But they also feared that free and healthy Africans would upend the racial hierarchy. The historian Jim Downs writes in his 2012 book, Sick from Freedom. So, at the end of the Civil War, they just fought a war. Hundreds of thousands of white men died on both sides. And in the Union Army ranks, there was, smallpox spreading all through the ranks and stuff like that. And so, at the time, they could have, tried to treat the black folks who were dealing with smallpox. They could have tried to treat the newly emancipated, free black men that fought for the United States government. And instead, what did they do? They said, we're going to let those black men die from smallpox. We'd rather let them die. And because we don't want healthy, strong black men in our society, we would rather see them wither away from smallpox than to treat everybody with the same health care. All right, Vladimir Udrusky says, hello, sir. Shout out to Vladimir. Continuing here. Federal policy, he notes, reflected white ambivalence at every turn. Congress established the Medical Division of the Freedmen's Bureau, the nation's first federal health care program to address the health crisis. But officials deployed just 120 or so doctors across the war-torn South. Then ignored those doctors' pleas for personnel and equipment. They erected more than 40 hospitals, but prematurely shuttered most of them. I didn't know that the Freedmen's Bureau, by the way, the Freedmen's Bureau should be brought back. They need to bring back the Freedmen's Bureau, which was an institution they created at the end of slavery to try to help the newly emancipated slaves into society, start businesses, go and travel places where they'll be free from white racial hatred. They need to bring the Freedmen's Bureau back. But I didn't know that the Freedmen's Bureau had a health division where basically they were trying to help people get health. Continuing here. So white legislators argued that free assistance. Listen to this. In the 19th century, white legislators argued that free health assistance of any kind would breed dependence, and that when it came to black infirmity, hard labor was a better salve than white medicine. So let that soak in, man. Don't we hear those same arguments today? Don't we hear those same arguments that somehow government helps American citizens with healthcare, with education, with housing, with jobs? Somehow that will breed dependence and our country will be off. And what do we have today? Thousands of people dying every single year because they can't get health. They can't get healthcare. Thousands of people every single year going into bankruptcy because they can't get health care. And it's all because of this white way of thinking where if the government helps all of us, that will breed dependence. And especially that will help people that we don't want to be helped, black folks. Anyway, as the death toll rose, they developed a new theory. Blacks were so ill-suited to freedom that the entire race was going extinct. No charitable black scheme can wash out the color of the Negro, change his inferior nature, or save him from his inevitable fate, said an Ohio congressman. One of the most eloquent rejoinders to the theory of black extinction came from Becca Lee Crumpler, the nation's first black female doctor. Crumpler was born free and trained and practiced in Boston. At the close of the war, she joined the Freedmen's Bureau and worked in the freed people's communities in Virginia. In 1883, she published one of the first treatises on the burden of disease in black communities. They seem to forget there is a cause for every ailment. Reconstruction. The former slave states came to wield enormous congressional power through a voting bloc that was uniformly segregationist and overwhelmingly democratic. And remember, back then, the Democrats were a racist party. Nobody's denying that. I hate when people come into my live stream or come into my chat and say the Democrats are the real racists. They started the Ku Klux Klan. White supremacy started in America. It starts in both parties. And the Republicans are as racist now as the Democrats were back then. Full stop. So that bloc preserved the nation's racial stratification by securing local control of federal programs under a mantra of states' rights, and in some cases by adding qualifications directly to federal laws with discriminatory intent. So basically, after the end of the Civil War, during Reconstruction, the former slaves, they got a lot of power, but then when the white supremacists came back into control, they got rid of all those social programs that were put in place to help people. Let's never forget that free education came from the against slavery. Let's not forget this. This picture that you see right here, the African-American ward of the Jackson Memorial Hospital in Miami in 1944. Let's forget that America had segregated hospitals, man. My guy Ozzy says he has cracker fatigue. I've been had that, boy. Continuing. So, as the Columbia University historian Ira Katz-Nelson and others have documented, it was largely at the behest of Southern Democrats that farm and domestic workers, more than half the nation's black workforce at the time, were excluded from New Deal policies, including the Social Security and Wagner Acts of 1935, the Wagner Act and the right of workers to collective bargaining, and the Fair Labor Standards Act of 1938, which set a minimum wage and established the 8-hour workday. The same voting bloc ensured states controlled crucial programs like aid to dependent children and the 1944 Servicemen's Readjustment Act, better known as the GI Bill, allowing state leaders to effectively exclude black people. So listen. A lot of people know American history. You know that, after the end of World War II, we had the GI Bill and a lot of social programs that were meant to reintegrate the soldiers back into society and to help them buy those nice homes in the suburbs like Levittown and stuff like that. They explicitly blocked black people from being a part of those programs, even if those black men went across the seas, fought in World War II, slapped and killed Nazis and all that sort of stuff. They made sure black men did not have access to the GI Bill, and they couldn't buy homes in Levittown because they had covenants that said you sell to any black people. And black people were left out all of the other social programs of the New Deal after the Great Depression, right? And they didn't explicitly say no black people in these federal policies, but they basically said, hey, domestic workers, which were black people, not allowed to be a part of the minimum wage that we're now establishing. People that work in agriculture, hey, you can't be involved in Social Security, all that good stuff. So every time there's been collective action, social action in America, they've always to exclude black people from these social programs that are meant to lift people out of poverty. And so, yes, the government, to my guy, it's over. The person that started this whole mess, the person that got me on this live stream sweating, yes, because that's how much each of you cost the government in payouts for being such a drag on Western societies. No, white men have been a drag on their own societies. They're the ones getting handouts. They're the ones getting payouts. They're the ones getting free shit from the government. Black people ain't got nothing free in this world. Nothing free in this world has been given to the black man, woman, or child, period. period. It's only these white men going across seas and saying, give me free shit, please, please, please. All white men do is beg and plead for shit. From the US government, from the Austrian government, from the Belgian government, from the Dutch government, all white was get free shit. Every black man on this earth has to bust his ass 2 times over just to get half of what a white man got. Facts, facts. Anyway, going Kamal. Kamal says Sidney Poitier starred in a film about medical discrimination. I see that. Put that film in the comment section. Maybe Akdi and I will review it. Anyway, continuing to expose the history of the white man's begging, gimme nature. In 1945, when President Truman called on Congress to expand the nation's hospital system as part of a larger healthcare plan, Southern Democrats obtained key concessions that shaped the American medical landscape for decades to come. The Hill-Burton Act provided federal grants for hospital construction to communities in need, giving funding priority to rural areas, many of them in the South. But it also ensured that states controlled the disbursement of funds and could segregate resulting facilities. Professional societies like the American Medical Association barred black doctors. Medical schools excluded black students, and most hospitals and health clinics segregated black patients. Federal health policy was designed both implicitly and explicitly to exclude black Americans. As a result, they faced an array of inequities, including statistically shorter, sicker lives than their white counterparts. What's more, access to good medical care was predicated on a system of employer-based insurance that was inherently difficult for black Americans to get. They were denied most of the jobs that offered coverage, said David Barton Smith, an emeritus historian of healthcare policy at Temple University. And even when some of them got health insurance, as the Pullman Porters did, they couldn't make use of white facilities. Ain't this crazy, man? The more you read about our history, the more you wonder why Simon Hill keeps the trail got a chip on his shoulder. Why more of the comments from the white supremacists trigger me? Because the whites don't even know their own history. The whites don't even know their own history. Yes, America should give every single black person $10 million a day for this type of shit that they were doing to us. Can you imagine? Can you imagine a group of people, 40 million people who are descended from people that did not have the right to basic human health care, that were denied the right to buy houses where they want to, even if they had them, that were denied the opportunity to go to the best hospitals, even if they could afford it, which is crazy to think about it. Noise Like Rambo says, are you one of the victims? Yes, nigga. Yes. Yes, you stupid ass crap. Stupid ass white folks. Are you one of the victims? Yes, nigga. I am living in this world as a black man. Are you stupid? You gotta be dumb. You gotta be dumb. But this is the thing. People in Noise Like Rambo are gonna say dumb stuff like, are you one of the victims? Are you one of the victims? Meanwhile, let's ask Noise Like Rambo. Noise Like Rambo, is there a white genocide in South Africa? Let's ask Noise Like Rambo that. Noise Like Rambo, I'm not going to reply to any of your comments until Noise Like Rambo, you answer this. Is there a white genocide in South Africa? Is there a white genocide in South Africa? Is there a white genocide in South Africa? All right? Is there a genocide in South Africa? All right? And by the way, for all the people, I'm going to start deputizing people, man. Come on, it's been time you up. Come on, I'm making you moderator now. Come on, you got to start slapping some of these white supremacists, man, who talk crazy in here. Come on, you've now been deputized. Come on, you now been deputized. All right. This is the thing. Noise Like Rambo. All right. Noise Like Rambo and Ozzy as well. Ozzy, come on. Y'all got to start handling these white supremacists, man. Y'all can either put them in timeout, block them, kick them out, whatever you want to do, man. You take care of them, man. Y'all got the blue mark now. Handle them white folks for me. I'm going to start deputizing black men the same white men did in the still day in killing black men. I'm going to start deputizing my black soldiers in the chat to start smacking some of you white boys around. Because number one, I got my live stream on at the call-in line here, and some of y'all could call in. But the white folks never want to call in. They just want to talk shit in the chat, but they never want to actually talk and debate. I got the live stream chat open for the call-in show so anybody can call in and talk. But instead, y'all to talk shit in the chat. Y'all pussy. The white man is pussy. I'm putting this in the chat, man, because this has to be said. The white man is pussy. White man, total pussy, man. It's a shame. Y'all can't even talk to your boy. Can't even talk to your boy. Ozzy's to you, man. Start killing them. Start killing them crackers. Start actually killing them crackers. Handle your business. Handle your business, because they want to talk shit in the chat. It's time for black men to be in charge. We putting black men in charge, and any of you white boys, y'all can talk to me. Y'all can holler at my soldiers in the chat. But let's keep it real. The white man is pussy. The white man is pussy. Facts. Because y'all want to talk shit to me, but y'all can't even hop up in the live stream. The white man is pussy. I'm right here waiting for y'all. But y'all don't even want to pop up. So Ozzy, Kamal, y'all handle. Anyway, we're gonna continue to stand on business. So let's continue here. So in the shadows of the exclusion of black folks from, hospitals, all right, in the shadows of this exclusion, black communities created their own health systems. Black communities created their own health systems. Lay black women began a national community healthcare movement that included fundraising for black health facilities, campaigns to educate black communities about nutrition, sanitation, and disease prevention, programs like National Negro Health Week that drew national attention to racial health disparities. Black doctors and nurses, most of them trained at 1 or 2 medical colleges, Harry, and Howard, established their own professional organizations and began a coverted war against medical apartheid. By the 1950s, they were pushing for a federal health care system for all citizens. So we were this close. We were this close for all health care. We were this close for health care for all of them. All right? We were this close for healthcare for all citizens. White people said we would rather see our children die. White men in America said we would rather see our own children get smallpox, measles, not be able to pay for their cancer treatment. We'd rather see our own children die than to actually take care of us as a citizenry. Ain't that a shame? Ain't that a shame? Ain't that absolutely a shame? Continuing here. All right? We're going to actually try to put some of these people out, man. We're going to have to, Ozzy, come on, I try to get y'all to work, man. Try to put y'all to work, but y'all got to actually start slapping them folks, man. I'm going to show y'all. That's an example. That's how we clear them out. That's how we clear them out. Whenever we block a white supremacist, we basically lynch them. Whenever we block somebody in the chat, we're basically doing a lynching, man. So Ozzy, Kamal, I need y'all to start lynching these white supremacists. Lynch them in the chat. Lynch them in the chat. Because in my chat, what we're doing now, lynch them, ban them. We're banning them, we're lynching them, straight up. So that's all we're doing. That's all we're doing. I don't like banning folks unless they're obviously trolling. I see you, Ozzy. I see you. But we're going to start banning and lynching some of these white supremacists, like Alabama right here. Get his ass out. Get his ass out. Lynching white supremacists. Straight up lynching them folks. That's what we doing, man. We standing on business. Anyway, continuing here on the story of how we almost had universal health care. Lynch him, ban him. Ban his ass. Lynch his ass, ban his ass. Straight up. So the fight put the National Medical Association, the leading black medical society, into direct conflict with the American Medical Association, which was opposed to any nationalized health plan. In the late 1930s and the 1940s, the group defeated 2 such proposals with a vitriolic campaign that informs present-day debates. They called the idea socialist and un-American and warned of government intervention in the doctor-patient relationship. The group used the same arguments in the mid-60s when proponents in national health insurance introduced Medicare. This time, the NMA developed a counter-message. Healthcare was a basic human right. All right? We're going to get these folks out of here, man. So, Medicare and Medicaid were part of a broader plan that finally brought the legal segregation of hospitals to an end. The 1964 Civil Rights Act outlawed segregation for any entity receiving federal funds, and the new healthcare programs soon placed every hospital in the country in that category. But they still excluded millions of Americans. Those who did not fit into specific age, employment, or income groups had little to no access to healthcare. All right? In 2010, the Affordable Health Care Act brought health insurance to nearly 20 million previously uninsured adults. The biggest beneficiaries of this boom were people of color, many of whom obtained coverage through the law's Medicaid expansion. That coverage contributed to a measurable decrease in some racial health disparities, but the success was neither as enduring nor as widespread as it might have been. Several states, most of them in the former Confederacy, refused to participate in Medicaid expansion. Let's repeat, because I'm from Louisiana and this is what radicalized me. Several states, most of them in the former Confederacy, like Louisiana, like Mississippi, like Alabama, all those dumb redneck white folks said they don't want Medicaid, don't want actually health care for their people. So they chose not to participate in Medicaid expansion. All right? And several are still trying to make access to the program contingent on onerous new work requirements. The results of both policies have been unequivocal. States that expanded Medicaid saw a drop in disease-related deaths, according to the National Bureau of Economic Research. But in Arkansas, the first state to implement work requirements, nearly 20,000 people were forced off insurance plan. Man, listen to this. Because Mr. Boski is saying, the Affordable Care Act ruined healthcare for some people, man. Listen, these are the facts. These are the facts from the white man's own mouth. These are the facts from the white man's government. Let's keep it real. These are the facts. These are the statistics that y'all choose not to read. These are the facts. These are the facts that some of y'all choose not to read. But y'all would rather not expand Medicaid just for racist benefit, just for your own self. Y'all would not expand, no, not even benefit, detriment, I mean. Y'all would not expand Medicaid. Y'all would not expand healthcare as two people just because you think somehow there's an undeserving black welfare queen somewhere who's going to take advantage of the system. All right? By the way, come on, Ozzy, you got to be lynching these boys, man. We go lynch them. Come on, man, lynch them. Lynch them means ban them. We getting these folks out, man. We not letting white supremacists just run up in the chat. Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy if you letting these boys up in the chat. Get their asses out. Lynch these white supremacists, man. We got to start lynching white supremacists. We got to start hanging them from trees and they dicks off. Hang them from trees and cut their dicks off. And the least we could do is ban them. The least we could do is ban them. Somebody asked me, where's one? I know where one is. He's in timeout. We put a whole white supremacist in timeout. We spanked that boy, didn't we? We spanked that boy. Because this is what the white man likes. The white man likes being cut. The first thing you see on that sells pornography is a white man in the corner jerking off while a big black man is having sex with a white woman. Okay? Okay, so the white man likes being cut. So all the black men who have now been deputized in my channel inflict maximum pain on the white man because this is what gives them a hard on. Facts. Y'all gotta start learning. The white man loves to be cut. The white man loves to be beat down, and the white man loves a big black man standing over him. I'm telling you, y'all gotta start doing it. Kamal says, I struggle finding the options. Find it. Tie the rope up, boys. We're gonna have ourselves a lynching for real. We about to put these boys in check for real. All right. Now let's continue here. Let's do something that the white supremacists don't do, which is read. Okay. All right. 150 years after the freed people of the South petitioned the government for basic medical care, the United States remains the only high-income country in the world where such care is not guaranteed to every citizen. In the United States, racial disparities have proved as foundational as democracy itself. Let's repeat. In the United States, racial health disparities have proved to be as essential as democracy itself. There has never been any period in American history where the health of blacks was equal to that of whites. Evelyn Hammonds, a historian of science at Harvard University, says, disparity is built into the system. Medicare, Medicaid, and the Affordable Care Act have helped shrink those disparities, but no federal health policy has yet eradicated them. Come on, man. Come on, man. We just spanked these white supremacists. We just put them in their place. And let's just circle back. Let's just circle back to the comment that started this whole thing. The comment that started this whole thing came from our guy, It's Over, 12415, right? He basically said, the government gives black people money somehow, and when the government kills us, somehow we are less of a drain on society. But I have to ask once again, before I put this white supremacist, before I turn his little clitoris on. Remember, the white man's penis is a clitoris. The white man's penis is a clitoris. Remember this. I turned on his little clitoris. I tinkled that before I started talking my shit again. Remember that the U.S. government doesn't do shit for any of its citizens. The United States government could not care less about any of its citizens. It is the only country in the world with more money than God, with more money than God, that doesn't do anything. That doesn't do anything for its citizens. The one country on earth with more money than God that doesn't do anything for its citizens. And the number one contributors to American society have been Black Americans. Black Americans do reparations to some degree. Actually, to the fullest degree. I take that back. Not to some degree, to the fullest degree. Black Americans are due reparations. We will probably never get them. We will probably never get them. But if we do, it will be long overdue, and it will never actually be enough. But the United States government doesn't help its citizens. Most Black folks live in the South. We live in Georgia. We live in Texas. We live in Kentucky. We live in Florida. We live in South Carolina, where those states don't have any sort of social safety net for their people, period. Any type of social safety net is gone. Types of social safety nets for American citizens is gone, period. And the only reason why we don't have a system like Germany, like France, like Spain, like Italy, like any of these other countries that have less money than us, less resources than us, is because we are obsessed with whiteness. It's because white supremacy has convinced white folks in their minds, like Mr. Boski, that somehow opposing social programs that could even help him and his family, and the stupid MAGA retards, opposing programs that could help him would somehow help Black folks. And if that happens, that's socialism, that's communism, that's the end of the American experiment. And that's sad. Sorry, Sheikh says we pay for their defense so they can spend that. Ain't that the truth? But here's a thing. We don't even have to spend it on defense. We don't have to be spending billions of dollars into a CIA black box budget God knows how much money they spend every single year. We don't have to even do that. We could take care of our citizens, but we don't. All right? So, Ms. Boski, we've heard you talk, but we got to lynch your ass too. We got to lynch him. We got to lynch Mr. Boski, man. We got to get his ass out of here, man. He's talking crazy. He's talking crazy. Listen, man. Y'all can call me whatever you want, but when y'all getting disrespectful, we got to lynch y'all. We got to lynch him. And that's what we're doing on this channel right now. I got two deputies. And they are two overseers. I'm the master on the plantation. This is Simon's plantation. This is the plantation, and I got two overseers on horseback. You know how the white boys used to be on horseback, whipping Black folks, picking in the fields? I got Kamal and Ozzy on horseback. They got a piece of straw in their mouth. They got a pistol on their hip, and they ready to lynch any white man that comes up in here talking anti-Black. And any Uncle Tom or RACOON that talks anti-Black, they gonna lynch them too. That's what we doing on this channel now. We standing on business. And I'm gonna deputize every single Black man on here to start spitting on, whipping on, pissing on these white supremacists. That's what we doing, man. Because we not allowing this shit to fly no more. Hey, Chrissy, you know what is productive? Putting your bitch ass in timeout. I just lynched if Chrissy is a man, he has a proper name because that's a feminine name. And you saw what I just did? I just spanked the bitch. All right? Chill with the strong language, my dude, for your own sake. Nope. Escape artists, we lynching white supremacists. If you scared, go to church. But what we doing on this is using the same type of rhetoric they use against us, we using it against them. All right? Jonathan Knoll says, any advice for a white man in America? Talk to your fellow white and tell them to wake the fuck up. Jonathan Knoll, here's some advice. Talk to your fellow whites and tell them to actually read a book. Tell them to actually supporting causes that fight the social programs that could make our country better than Switzerland, better than Sweden. Okay? All right? That's what we doing. We're on business. Kamal says, Jonathan, no, you're on thin ice. He's on thin ice just for being white up in this thing. That's what we doing, man. We the black KKK. We the black KKK up in this thing. All right. Escape artist says, avoid using the L word. Escape artist, you sound like a scared boy. You sound like a scare boy, and we ain't scared around this thing. This the black KKK around here. This is the black KKK, and we standing on business. We lynching white supremacists. White supremacists. I didn't say white people. And if I did say white people, I take it back, but we're lynching white supremacists. Facts. Okay? All right? That's it. Facts. Okay. You just scared the Reddits with the word books, let alone telling them to read. I sure did. I sure did. But we standing on business, baby. That's what we doing, man. Anyway, I'm about to get out of here. It's been fun, man. Shout out to everybody who joined the chat. I want to give a shout out to Kamal and Ozzy. Y'all keep doing your thing. Y'all are now the deputies. Y'all are the deputies. Y'all are the overseers on the plantation. And any type of white boy that comes in here talking like this, we gonna lynch him. We gonna hang him from the tree. We gonna hang them from the tree. We gonna do. We gonna cut their dicks off. We gonna hang them from the tree. We might as well just break into the shack and rape their wives too. Okay? That's what we gonna do. This is the black KKK around here. We spanking all white supremacists. Up in the live stream chat. Facts. We might put them in shackles and put them in the field too. That's what we doing. All right? All right. Anyway, y'all be easy out there. Shout out to everybody. Stop being stupid. Stop being stupid. Stop believing the propaganda that somehow our society would be worse if we actually had a social safety net. If actually people were given the benefits that they were supposed to be given if we lived in a social democracy. All right? Y'all be easy out there. Peace.